Hello, May class, and welcome to your next maths lesson. This week's going to be a little bit different in that you are going to be doing different investigations every day, focusing on some things that we have already looked at. So if I share my screen with you today, you are going to be looking at the division rules. And we're going to be investigating division. But before we do this, obviously, I would like you to complete our arithmetic. As usual, the questions are up on the board. I'm going to allow you some time to pause the video. And then when you unpause it, the answers will be on there and then we can discuss them. So pause the video now and answer the questions that are on the screen. Right, so if we unpause our video, here is the answers that you will need for your arithmetic. 3 times 7 is 21. What is half of 120? It's 60. What is 67 as a Roman numeral? LXVII. What is 3 ninths plus 5 ninths? You would add your numerators, so 3 plus 5 is 8. So your answer is 8 over 9. 6 times 6 is 36. 16 divided by 4 is 4. An equivalent fraction to 3 over 7 is 6 over 14. 4,562 plus 3,217 is 7,779. 7,896 minus 5,613 is 2,283. And 24 divided by 8 is 3. Right, as mentioned before, we're going to be looking at division rules in our first investigation. So if we have a look, and I've actually, let me just erase this. This was what I worked out for us earlier. So it is asking us to recap what we know about 124 and dividing it by 4. So the question that has been posed to us is the following question. They're saying, let's divide 124 into 4 equal groups. So we have 124 divided by 4. This way has shown you with our tens and our ones of dividing it into these columns. So what you would do is obviously break up each individual number into tens, ones, and hundreds and make them and divide those into 4 equal groups. So remember that our 124 is made up of 100, of 20, and of 4. So these are the numbers that we are going to be breaking up into our 4 equal groups. We can see we've got 4 equal groups here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be dividing each one of these numbers by 4. So let's start with 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we could put, I'm going to put 1 in each one of these columns. And then I've divided 4 equally into 4 groups. 20 divided into 4 equal groups will be 5. Okay, so I'm actually just going to write 5 in here. 5, 10, 15, 20. So I've divided my 20 into 4 equal groups. Then 100 divided into 4 equal groups is going to be 25 because we have 25, 50, 75, 100. So we would divide that by 4 and it gives me 25. So I'm going to put another 5 in my ones column and I'm going to put I'm going to put 20 obviously here, or it's 2 tens. So we would say 2 tens, 2 tens, 2 tens, 2 tens. So it's 20. And then all you have to do is add one of them up. So we go 20 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1. And the answer would give me 31. So if I had to say 124 divided by 4, it would give me 31 in each one of those 4 groups. This would equal 31. This would equal 31. That would equal 31. Okay. We've got our 5 from our 25s, and these are 20s. Okay, and you would add them all together, And one of these groups will give you the answer to our question. Okay, 124 divided by 4 is 31, and we could check our answers by going 31 times by 4 will give me 124, because 1 times by 4 is 4, and 30 times by 4 will give me 120, and I could add it together. So you can either do it just by writing the numbers, or you could do it by drawing counters in each one of these. So again, remembering, let's do our ones we're going to do in, well, we can just do it like this. So 4 divided into 4 equal groups. So be 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 divided into 4 equal groups would be 5. So we'd go 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 100 divided into 4 equal groups would give me 25. So give me 2 10s, which I can do actually in a different color. Let's do it like this, 2 10s for the 20. And then we would have another 5, because 100 divided by 4 would give me 25. So I've put my 20 and now I need to put my 5. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've divided the whole thing. And then you could just count one row. So we've got 20 here, and we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So 11 plus 20 would give me 31. So again, our answer would be 124 divided into 4 equal groups is equal to groups of 31. We could also use our bus stop method when we are working out our maths. Now, our bus stop method, I have actually put an example. Did I put the example? No. Right, so our bus stop method is a little bit different. When you are using your bus stop method, you draw something that looks like this. The number that is being divided goes underneath, and then the divisor goes on this side. So if we have 144, and it is being divided by 6, okay, you are going to divide 6 into each one of these numbers, okay? The thing is that sometimes it doesn't go into that number. So for example, 6 divided, it can't divide into 1. So instead of just putting 0, we can just put a little dot there, because you can't divide 1 by 6, okay? We look then at the next 2 numbers, and 6 can divide into 14. So we go 6, 12, so it can divide 2 times, and then it is left with another 2, so we're going to write it there. So this number becomes, it goes from 4 to being 24, because remember we've got our 1s, 10s, our 100s, we had 2 remaining there, and we would put them there. So now I look at what 6 can divide. Can 24 divide by 6? Let's see, 6, 12, 18, 24. It can divide 4 times. So my answer is 144 divided by 6 is equal to 24. Okay. Again, we can do this with a different number, and sometimes you will be left with a remainder if the number doesn't divide equally. So for example, if I had 175, and I'm going to divide that by, let's say 7, okay? 7 can't divide into 1. It can divide into 17 by going into 14. So, oh, well, this isn't even going to leave a remainder actually, because 17, we go 7, 14, so it can divide twice. And then there's a remainder of that. And then 7 can go into 35, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 5 times. But obviously, if it didn't go equally into it, you would then have, maybe if we had, for example, this was a 6, okay, you could go, it goes 7 goes into 14, and then you've got 3 left over, and then it goes into 35 5 times with a remainder of 1. So we could do it that way. So that's what happens if you have a remainder. Okay. So your investigation is going to look the following way. You're going to pick a number that you are going to divide by. This number is going to be called a divisor. So if I wanted, for example, to divide by 5, okay, I'm then going to generate a 3-digit number that is going to be divided by my divisor. So it can be any 3-digit number. So I could have 350, okay? You can use a dice to help you generate a 3-digit number. So roll your dice and help you come up with a 3-digit number if you would like, or you can just think of your own one. And then you are going to divide that number by your divisor. So clear this. So for example, we've just said my first question is going to be 350. Change my color. 350 divided by 5. And I can use whatever method I think I can use. I can use it here. So I'm going to use my bus stop method. I'm going to say 350 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 3, but it can go into 35. It goes 7 times. And then I've got a 0 here, so I just put my 0 here. And the answer is 70. Okay. You then make more 3-digit numbers. So we could have 3, 5, 5, 9, 9, 0, 4, 7, 0, and maybe 2, 5, 5. And they're going to divide by 5 for each of these numbers. And you are going to find an answer. So make sure to write your answers. Draw up this table, draw your questions, write the answers, but also show your working for these. Something to remember, as I mentioned before, is that sometimes we get a remainder. So if we are still using 5 as our divisor, if I have a number like 672, okay, that's going to be my number that I'm going to divide by 5. Let's work on this together. Can 5 go into 6? It can. It goes once with a remainder of 1. Can 5 go into 17? It can. It goes 3 times with a remainder of 2, and I'm going to put it there. Can 5 go into 22? It can. It goes 4 times because that takes you to 20, and I have a remainder of 2. So I know with my 5 times table that if it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5, it's going to end up having a remainder. And that is important to remember if you were doing your 5 times table and with the next task followed on from this. So once you have completed this table, you're now going to look at your answers. When is the answer a whole number? When has the answer got a remainder? When is the answer a remainder of 1 or more? Can you spot any patterns? So for example, looking at my numbers that are divisible by 5, is that if it doesn't have, my pattern could be if it doesn't end with a 0 or a 5, you will always have a remainder. Okay. And what rules can you come up with when you are doing these division questions? So it is something that you can have fun with today, coming up with some division questions. Maybe you want to practice more than one way of dividing. Maybe you have more than one method for that. Maybe it's you like the bus stop method. Maybe you have a longer method. it really is what works for you. So if you finish this table, maybe you would like to try it with another number as your divisor and another 5 numbers as your dividend, so the number that you are dividing. So you can do, so for example, 5 questions using your 5 times table, and then you can do another question or another 5 questions using your 7. So dividing by 7, maybe you want to divide by 2, maybe divide by 9. So come up with a few questions for this. Remember, you should be spending about an hour on your maths, so take some time to practice these questions.